Welcome back to Can I Get Some Podcast, the podcast that's centered on politics, uh, relationships, and pop culture. Right now, we have a very spectacular panel of people who've joined me to discuss a topic that's been kind of popping up in these YouTube streets. I've been on a couple of different panels, and people have saying the OGs are saying the game is still the game. Everything's the same. All the things that you needed in order to attract a relationship-minded significant other are the same, or just to attract people in general are the same. And the new people are saying, nah, man, it's been changed. It's long since changed. All the things aren't working anymore with the influx of social media and things like that. People's expectations of what things should be or have totally changed. So what I want to do is I just want to ask a bunch of people. Uh, some of these people are single. Some people are newly relationships. Some people are in relationships. So I just wanted to get a kind of a broad perspective on what people are thinking, what they're hearing, what are some of the sentiments that they're getting out in the world today. So I've assembled this amazing panel so we can talk about it. First of all, I want to give a shout out to first time panelist, Miss Alexa. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Alexa's
I'm
an
excited to be here with
good,
you
good,
guys.
good. Alexa's an embodiment coach and certified to be a mindset coach. She is just all about, the total person, and she just has some amazing things to say on a lot of different subjects. So I was happy that she consented to jump on the show. So welcome again. I appreciate you coming on. All right. We're going to skip over Will because he's OG right now. So we're going to go to Renee. How you doing, Renee? Also an amazing person. She does a lot of community outreach, community work. She just had this really great charity drive for kids a couple of weeks ago, and she's always doing things that uplift and make a difference in the community. So I just really appreciate her jumping on, and she's always a fun energy to have around. So thanks again for taking the time to jump on the podcast. Next we have, I'm gonna click on the draw. Next we have Stevie. Stevie's just an amazing person. Like she had some great insights on Will's show. I mean, some of the things she says, she has some traditional values, but she has a modern mindset. She has a modern take on a lot of traditional values. She does a lot of outreach to help women empowerment through financial literacy and to break just generational curses. She's all about like uplifting women and women of color specifically. But she just all around just dope, open-minded, smart person that I like hearing what she has to say. So once again, give it up to Stevie. All right. Next we got TJ in the house. What's up, TJ? This is a cat I've known all my life. He's basically like family to me. That's because he is family to me. He's a one of the smartest cats I know. When I was a young knucklehead going the wrong way, he put me on some game about the things I should be doing with myself, helped me go in a new direction. And I credit him for a lot of successes I've had in life. He's just a all around intelligent, dope cat. Helping to keep what are you doing now? You're working for Virgin Galactic, helping to keep the spaceships in the air. He's just super smart and just got a lot of great things to say. Once again, I want to give it up to my cousin TJ. Now I'm always lucky when I get to have this guy on my podcast or on my show. Will is just like a really, really dope guy. He's a man of conviction that you don't find in the modern era. There's a lot of dudes who are wishy-washy, a lot of dudes who kind of go with the flow. He's a man of strong conviction that I really respect. Like he's gonna be who he is, no matter what the environment or circle is, which is something I highly respect. He's also the host of the #1 Polynesian podcast in the Bay Area, the Kava Club podcast. He's just a dope guy, and he was nice enough to host me at it on his show a couple of weeks ago, and it was just a good time. Everybody, get it for Will Nicosi. Now that that's out of the way, all the love is out the way. Let's get to the hate. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Like I was saying before, I'm just hearing so much in these streets about the negativity that's surrounded by dating, and people aren't even they're like pulling themselves out of the market till things get better. But little do they know, if the good ones pull themselves out of the market is going to stay bad. So I think what's happening is, if people are having more conversations about the good parts of dating or the benefits of dating, and don't harp so much on the bad parts, people can see that, yes, if, with a little bit of discernment and effort, I can probably find somebody that I can date and possibly build long-term relationships, because that's what we over here are about, is building significant long-term functional relationships. So with that, I want to jump into the first question. And the way I like to do it is structure. I like to break down questions and then ask people to answer. All right. First one is, it would be so much easier to date the opposite sex if they would just finish the question. And I'm going to go to TJ first, because he got this big shit-eating grin on his face.
If they would just, so for me, I don't like rules. So, sometimes if I want to call you on the day after I get your number, I want to call you on the day after I got your number. So for me, it would be easier if there were no rules that you had to play by. Oh, he called too soon, or he called too late, or he said too much or too little. Just let me say what I say and let it be what it be. Just like kind of let it flow a little naturally, and don't put things inside of boxes. So that would be my answer to that question.
Okay, what about you, Stevie?
You know what? I think that if they were just more upfront, I think with society today and like social media, like we have to play the game of like trying to figure it out, right? Trying to see like what they want, or what they're trying to do, or what their intentions are. And I think if people, well, especially like the opposite sex, just let us know like, hey, like I'm just here to have a good time, not for a long time, or I'm just trying to find my wife. Like if they were just all up front, then it would be easier, because I think that they're so stuck in a mindset where they have to feed you what you want to hear, rather than just being honest and just moving along, because it's plenty of women that don't necessarily want a relationship and they want to have fun too. And I think it would be easier to weed through who wants who if they were just more honest.
Okay, I'm gonna get to everybody, but I want to ask you a question regarding honesty, because I hear that a lot on these panels. Like, the honesty is paramount. Honesty will get you so far. So Let me get this straight. And I want, if any of you women can answer this question if you feel like it. Actually, I want each of you to answer this question. If a man came to you and says, I find you attractive, exciting, and smart. I'm looking to take you out, spend some money on you, maybe make you laugh, make you feel important. And if I do these things consistently, would you be open to a sexual relationship that could possibly lead to a long-term relationship? Is that something that you're interested and open to right now? How would you receive that total honesty?
No problem with me. I like food. I like being taken care of. I mean, the whole sexual aspect of that, I mean, that's natural for people to want. But I like the whole end part where he said, or they said, the potential for it to become a long-term relationship. Now, after X amount of months, if it's passed and we're still doing the same thing, no label, then I would be like upfront, like, hey, so what are we, status wise?
Okay. What about you, Stevie?
Yeah, no, I think that we're adults, so we kind of understand what comes with it, right? Like, more than likely, like, men, obviously, when they first see a woman, it's the sexual thought, like, can I see myself having sex with her? And like, as much as we probably don't want to admit it, it's like we are thinking the same thing, and we're also like, can I see myself marrying this man? Can I see myself having kids with this man, right? And so it's like, we all know what's going to come from this. And so I think if he has the same intentions I have, like, it's fine, because if the vibe is right, if like you guys are having that connection, then like you just can't help what happens. But if you're just like, look, I'm fine with just taking you out tonight, but I'm expecting something at the end of the night, then it's like, it's a little different. But seeing his intentions is probably the same with yours, then it'll probably align. Okay.
All right, Alexa.
Yeah, I like the honesty and the boldness of him being upfront and communicating what he's looking for. I would say, yeah, I'll give it a try. I can't promise that I'm gonna want to have sexual relations with you if those feelings don't come natural to me. Like, we can give it a shot and we can go on a couple of dates, but I can't guarantee anything more than that until further notice.
Hey,
All right. Well, go ahead.
similar question, but with a different ending. So that exact same scenario, except the outcome is like, hey, we just have a good time, but this does not turn into a relationship. We go out, we have a good time, I buy you dinner, we go to movies, we have sex, but we don't end up being in a relationship.
Okay, ladies, I think he's asking that to you guys.
Yes, I am.
I would say no, because I don't want to have a relationship just for fun and sex. I want more than that. So no.
Yeah, for me, I'm at where I'm at in my life. It wouldn't be for me either. I would respect that he was honest, but I would have to let him know, like, I don't want to waste your time either, you know.
Right. And just to popcorn off of what Stevie said, I guess it really depends on where you're at in your life. If you're still in the market dating around, by all means, you do you, boo. But for me, sorry, at this point in my life, I want a committed relationship that will end up in marriage and have kids, so on and so forth.
All right. This is the advice I gave a newly single friend of mine. I was like, you know, there was a women, like he was dating. There was a couple women who were trying to like lock him down, and he was upfront. He said, "I am not your man. I'm not the guy who's going to lock down a relationship. What I am is the male energy that's a placeholder until you find that man." He was like, "What? Just think of me as, you know how they say, don't go to the grocery store on an empty stomach."
Yeah.
I'm the full stomach. So you're not going in there just putting all your hopes and dreams, and just because you're lacking male attention and male energy. I'm making it so that you can go into situations with new guys with a clear mind. Would you respect a guy who came at you and said something like that? I will be the male energy in whatever capacity that you need until you find the guy that's going to be your man.
I respect it, but I wouldn't do it either, because I know emotionally wise, we're very emotional creatures. And I think that when you tend to, because obviously from my understandings, he's willing to give me exactly what I need. So then I know what to expect, or, you know, not take like going on to whatever I'm going to grab when I find that. And I think that's dangerous, because like emotionally, you're always going to you're going to tend to get connected to this person. And he's like, hey, no, I was just a seat filler. Like, you got to go find what's for you. And I'm like, well, I loved everything you gave me because you just wanted to feed into what I wanted, you know? So I think that that's dangerous. So no.
What do you think about that, Alexa?
It kind of sounds like manipulation to me, because he knows that she's lacking something. She's looking for something. He's like, hey, I can give you this, but I'm not going to be the one that you end up with. So you can take it or leave it. But in the end, if you get hurt, that's your fault, not mine. You can't put that on me. Kind of. So
okay.
I would say no to that. Yeah.
That's called weaponizing the truth.
Yeah.
So what about you, Renee?
Again, I feel like it all depends on the person and where they're at in their life. And that's the thing, though. It's like if a person has already expressed that they're not willing to go past, you know, this boundary, then that's just up to you with how you take it and how you act upon it. You know what I mean? If, for example, they've already said that, but you're here still trying to catch feelings for them, then that's your fault. You know, like they already made it clear to you that they're not going to be anything more than what they said they were going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, that's where I'll end the topic.
What did you say, Matt?
I said, who was you having that conversation with?
Some newly single cat that I know. He was just out there, just out there in the world.
Hey, Damien, can I ask a question?
Absolutely, Will. Go ahead.
No, so the same question about the honesty, because I think what's missing from this conversation, Damien, is if you do meet a man that's your type and you're romantically attracted to. So my experience, you know, if it's not your type, then that man probably have more hurdles he has to overcome. But usually when women meet their type or the man that they're really attracted to that fits all the boxes, that man may have a different experience than the average guy. So same question to the ladies when I ask you, the guy's honest, but he's your type. You know, he has all, not when I say type, not only the physical characteristics, the mental, the values, the traditional, everything, but he's just being honest because he's just not ready for a relationship right now. And he doesn't want to hurt you, but he's just being honest, but he's your type. Would you like take a risk? Like, hey, let me know it. Let me see if I can. I don't come across this guy very often, but this may be an opportunity for me.
Great question.
Or you're gonna let that man go, knowing that you've never in your life have never come across that man. That was the only time, only opportunity you met a man that had everything that you were looking for. But he was just honest to you because he didn't want to hurt you. I'm just not ready for a relationship right now. Maybe possibly in the future. So, but he's your type. Would you still repeat the same answer that you guys just said a couple minutes ago, or would it change?
I would still say no, because although he's checking all of these boxes, he's still not my type because he's not emotionally ready. So he doesn't have that, then that's not what I'm looking for. So no.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Like, I don't want to be the person you have to learn with or grow with or try to prove that I'm that person for you. You know, I want you to, like, if you check all the boxes for me and it works, I want you to come back when you're ready. You know, I want you to go experience and learn whatever you need to learn until you figure out you're ready for a relationship. Because I'm also not going into looking for a relationship if I'm not mentally ready, right? If I'm not emotionally or mentally healed. So if that's what he needs to do to figure out himself or whatever he needs to feel like he needs a relationship or ready for a relationship, then I want to allow him to do that in his own space and then bring our space together when we're both mentally at the same page.
Okay.
Cool. I'm gonna give some shout out to some love to the chat real quick. Remember to like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to hit that like button and subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and share it if you think we came up with some jewels that you might want other people to hear. Make sure you share it. So first, I'm gonna give a shout out to Sabrina. How you doing, Sabrina? She says yes. So, and then we got Will. What's up, everybody? What's up, Will? We got Ezekiel Trevino. Hey, what's up? You all, Sabrina. And then we got Kiki Jones. Hey, Renee.
That's my girl.
Renee, get some love from the chat. Oh man, Ricky Webster. What's up, Ricky? How you doing, brother? Just wanted to give some love out to the. So I want to get back to the question for the fellas. You know, Will, out there in the dating market, do you ever say it would be so much easier to date the opposite sex if they would just fill in the blank?
Get off social media and go to the real world and date. I think most people are living vicariously online of trying to figure out their dating life. And I think most people are not really going out there to the real world and getting a real practical experience and also practical feedback of what it's like. And I see this, I'm not going to speak from the women's side, but I know from the men's side. I know for the men's side, there's a lot of research out there and statistics out there that show that most men out there are not really going out there participating in the dating market and getting the real life practical experience. And I think a lot of the content that you see online, we live in a society today that encourages men and women to go apart, encourages men and women not to get married, to delay marriage, to sexualize themselves and focus on things that doesn't benefit and build strong foundations in relationships. You can go online and you can just go on Instagram. You can see all the type of content that we see. There's a breakdown in the family, unfortunately, in America. And I think if you live online, that's what a lot of men and women see. And you can just hear from the rhetoric when you look at podcasts and you hear the type of words that you hear from men and women when they talk about the opposite sex. You know, all men are like this. All women are like this. That's what happens when you just consume the same content over and over. Mm-hmm. But if you actually did the work and work on yourself first, because it starts with you, and go out there, you start to realize that the world is not online. You know, the world is the world. So I think that's, if everybody just got off social media, dating would be easy for them. And I think there's just so much content and so many influences on social media that deter people and convince people to do things that doesn't benefit or know how to build a strong relationship. And I think the most of the content that we see is all about hookups, having sex, but there's no content. That's why I love your podcast and the conversation that we have, Damien. And we talked about this before. There's no content out there, or there might be but I don't see a lot of building strong, foundational, healthy relationships. Most of the things that go viral, you think is all toxic, right? Most of the toxic content that go viral for dating relationships, it's always toxic content. And I understand that's just the way it is, but you never see a healthy relationship podcast or content go viral because nobody cares about that. And that's what people are consuming. And that becomes their beliefs and their expectations of how men and women are in the real world, which is false.
Yeah, and I hear you. It's like the ones that are, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, that like podcasts like yours and mine that are solution based, you're trying to build stuff and try to repair some of the damage that's been done by things like social media. We get 200 views, and the ones where they're fighting, calling each other names, they get 20,000.
Yeah.
You know, because people like the dysfunction. People are attracted to the dysfunction because it makes them feel better about themselves, or what have you, or better about the situation. I just want to say shout out Sharon Bracey in the house. We appreciate you, Sharon. If the chat got any questions you want us to bring up, feel free to put it in the chat. We'll address it if it's pertinent to what we're talking about. Otherwise, I love the love. Appreciate you guys. Will basically stole my answer. I was thinking the same thing. Obviously, if they would just get off social media, I think social media has perverted the dating market. It's skewed of what expectations should be of the person that you're dating or the person that you're interested in. You know, it's make you think that the woman need to look like this or the man needs to have this in order to have any type of real value. It's not about learning a person and then letting the value of them kind of their personality value kind of be the forefront when you're looking at of the material value or the other values that they may have. So I agree. I agree that social media has been in its conception, it was to bring people together, but I think it's had the reverse effect and have split people up where people aren't even willing to engage with that on a genuine level. I remember I was watching this podcast where this cat was saying like he went to he hosted at a bar, and the people and the music came on, and instead of people like walking up to each other trying to dance or whatever, they were on their phones kind of like trying to find a person on social media in order to like or send them a message or something like that, as opposed to just walking across the room and expressing interest and trying to get the person to show that they feel like they might be interested as well. So I think it's a cop out. I think it gives people who have it's made our hunter and our receiver muscles atrophy to the point to where people don't even know how to accept any kind of rejection or anything like that, because they're on social media, the Tinders and what have you. All you are getting accepted. If you swipe and they match up with you, you've already pre-selected and already accepted. So there's no work that has to be done there. So yeah, I'm right with you, Will, about as far as like people have to get off social media.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody got anything to say? Any rebuts or retorts? Anything I have to say?
I do feel like I guess don't give ourselves enough credit as like discerning human beings. I think people do realize for the most part that social media is just, it's a hit reel. So you show all the hits, but you don't show nothing like any of the misses. Like, for example, I was applying for jobs. I posted the job that I got. I didn't post the 10 interviews that I went to and didn't get. But I think people understand that for the most part. So yeah, you see people living like these bomb lives on social media, but am I the only one that realizes that they're just showing their hits, but none of the misses?
Yeah.
And that's a big point, because I think that especially with the time we're in right now, everybody compares their relationships to like those YouTube couples, and then like the couples that's on social media, the celebrity couples, right? And we all get to see when they're on camera. We don't really get to see behind the doors. So in a lot of relationships, it's hurting people because they don't understand that we don't get to see their real lives. And so then here we are like comparing ourselves like, well, this is what a man's supposed to look like this is what you should be bringing in. Like we could go down a rabbit hole with how toxic social media made relationships. You'll even see little clips of like people asking women like, well, what does a man need to look like? Like, how much money does your man need to make? And you'll hear somebody say like $2 million a year. And you're like, is that like, do you make that much? And it's like, why are we so like delusional now that social media is here and we don't even have the realities of like a working man is still like a very, very like great man, and it's just like, so we're all stuck in this social media like image of like what is supposed to be your ideal relationship and not taking the realities of like what your happiness may look like.
Yeah.
That's a really great point. That's a super great point. Seriously, I've heard that before when I've been on. It's a lot of times it's usually like the really like younger people that have this kind of view. It was like I was on a podcast once and they were saying I think she was 27. They said, how much does the guy that you're dating need to make? And she was like $300,000. And I was like, well, how old? I was like, are you looking to date a 50-year-old dude?
Right.
I was like, on average, because that's who's making $300,000 around right about now. And she was like, no, I know people my age. I was like, how old are you? 27? I said, 27-year-olds, a group of them, more than one. I'm not talking about a rapper or anything like that, or a scammer who are making $300,000 a year. And she was like, yeah. I was like, okay. It's like which makes me think that a lot of people don't understand money and how it works. They just get an idea that the more money you got, the better life you got. And they put so much emphasis on it. And I think social media has affected that, has made it to where you put so much emphasis on the material that you surpass the emotional aspect of relationship. Because a lot of women, if they're getting paid enough, will look past like cheating and infidelity, sometimes physical abuse, if the bag is big enough. I think that's to the detriment. And a lot of dudes will feel like they can get away with infidelity and abuse and stuff like that if their bag is getting big enough. So I think social media has really damaged society, damaged the dating game, but it's here. Hopefully there's ways we can bring it back and make it more of a benefit, but I haven't seen it yet. So
no.
Right. Yeah, anything you want to say on that, Alexa?
Yeah, I think it's very easy to do what everyone else is doing and just follow that same path that you see them doing. I was away from social media for almost 7 years. I've never been on Tinder. I've never been on Bumble. And I feel like if I did follow that path, I would have made a lot more mistakes than I've done. And I'm not too sure where I want to take this, but just kind of be careful what you're feeding your mind, kind of. Because if you're feeding it these things that are not benefiting your soul, your mind, your emotions, you're going to receive what you're putting in, if that makes sense. Like what you put in, you're going to start seeing in your surroundings.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for the people that are currently in the dating world, how are you guys meeting people now? Is it more in person, more on social media, dating apps, kind of both?
A lot of my friends, they've met some people through the social, what do you call it? Those dating apps, like Bumble, Tinder. I've never actually owned any of those things. A lot of the men that I've met have been out, going to events, and that's events like the raving scene when I used to do that, or like events now that I'm taken now, but I've met people who are like genuine and authentic, like in events now, like in like volunteering events and all that stuff.
I think now a lot of people are more intimidated to approach you in person. I think that it's easier to DM you, right? Because like they see your profile, you're able to see them at their best, because everybody posts their pictures at their best on social media, right? If they want to show you like, oh, I got this bag, I'm getting this money, like I got these nice cars or whatever, I got this lifestyle, they're able to show that from their first initial like conversation with you through social media. And then also like I think for like Tinder and everything now, like when I was dating, I went to it because it was nice to kind of like like you're forced to speak to me, right? Like I'm forced to get to know you instead of like your initial like thought being more just sexual because like you saw me, you want my number, and you just want to like hang out or whatever. Now you're like forced to kind of like have a conversation with me, and I'm able to be like, you can't really have a conversation. You're not really like feel like feeding me like intellectually, like we don't vibe like that, so I think that now, and that's probably just because I'm a little older now, but I just couldn't imagine like going to the club and somebody talking to me because it's just so awkward, because again, like you were saying, like everybody's on their phones, like they're trying to see who they can match with or whatever, and it's weird. People don't know how to have normal conversations or really be approachable no more. So
and I think it's because I had written it down to answer this question on the screen. It's like, I think people are afraid to be their true selves. Like they're afraid to be authentic,
Yeah.
Like you said, they just want to post whatever looks good on their social media, but what they don't know is that there are other people that want to know your story, and so what I learned last year and what I share with people is like, you control your narrative, you control your story. If you're out there if you're out there doing like shaking ass, you're gonna attract a certain group of people or a group of men, women, whatever, that like that kind of things. But if you're looking for somebody that wants to be like tied down, make you a wife, husband, or whatever like that, then that's just not the kind of stuff that I feel like you should be posting,
Yeah. And also like when you go to a club too, like for men, I feel for men, right? Because like going back to like the women like of social media, they just feel like they deserve this man of like a caliber that they wouldn't be able to get in everyday life, right? So like being able to be like turned down by an everyday like average woman that's probably working retail, expecting like some millionaire to approach her is like, so I can see why men is more like, I'd rather just not really approach women, because a lot more women are, like turning men down. Like, no, like I'm okay, I'm good. They'll size you up like right in person. So that can be really intimidating, and it's not fair, but it's society. So I see where it's easier to like reach out online, because you kind of get to, I guess, see that person's life, like I was saying, versus like this girl just instantly shutting you down in the club.
Okay.
I had a question. I just want to gauge where the dating market is. Ladies, when's the last time a man approached you?
Well, men approach you like all the time, like men are always like in your DMs. Like women are always like
physically, like they walked up physically and tried to approach you and talk to you.
It doesn't happen as much as a DM, but it's still like a few people that's bold. That's like, okay, I don't want to see her get away. Let me just try to holler or something.
Like when's like the last time? Just like as far as time reference.
Last week when I was at a stoplight, I I don't know why. I'm like, why do people try to talk to me when I'm in the car? Like I'm about to leave, but yeah, like
okay.
That was
What about you, Alexa?
It honestly doesn't happen that often. I want to say earlier this year. Yeah, I was at a bowling alley. Yeah.
Okay.
Not that often.
So like, okay, whole year. And then Renee?
Shoot, that was when I was out of the streets, I would have and stuff. But now I'm home most of the time. So
it's how long? Couple years?
That was a couple years ago, probably college.
Yeah.
So 6 to 8 years ago.
Yeah, there's studies out there that show them, and I think almost 50% of men from 18 to 25 have never approached a woman in their life.
No.
Ever. So
yeah, I mean, because like I said, they're so used to the pre-selection of dating apps and hookup apps because they've already got the pre-approval.
Yeah,
it's like so why would they take the chance on something that's not at least a 50-50 thing? Because and I, like I said, TJ and I, we were out in them streets together back in the day, and it was like that's all we do. It was you had to develop the skills to talk to women, and you got turned down. You got turned down more than you got the yeses. You got turned down, but then what happens? The more you practice, the more you did it, the turn down started happening less and less and less because you start having the comfort. And I said it on your podcast. Shout out to Uncle Jeff. He was like, if you develop confidence, chivalry, and humor, you can get a woman.
Mm-hmm.
On those three things, if you are a confident guy who can make a woman laugh and you got good manners, you're gonna get you a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think a lot of that, you know, but there's a lot of things, a lot of podcasts out there that are calling that simp behavior. You know, they're negative against this, saying, no, if you do all that stuff, you're simping. You know,
No,
it's all about
human.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
like,
or just
it's
like
all,
new word, call them in sassy. I hate that. It's a pet peeve of mine. Like I hate this little like new like, oh, he's sassy. Like why? Because he wants to open a door. He's nice. Like
yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's a new
Yeah.
trend that's going viral right now.
mhm.
yeah. I don't know how many
Sorry, man,
times.
if you like encounter women like that who don't appreciate you guys for being chivalrous and for saying hello and all that stuff, like I am so sorry if any of you men experience a woman like that. There are good ones out there, I promise.
Well, you didn't answer the question. How do you meet people?
Oh, just through my social circle.
DMs. I'm just kidding.
No, not from my social circle. I don't do anything online. It's everything I do is just through my social circle friends. If that's the people I usually meet, because I think I like practical experience. I like meeting people that's within my circle, because if it's within my circle, then I think we have similar values and similar mindset and ideas. You know, so that's what I do. It's much better for me.
Yeah, and they're pre-qualified because the people
Yeah.
won't let you introduce you to somebody who's on some dumb shit. And that's the
Yeah,
way it is.
exactly. Yeah.
Because they know you're not on dumb shit, so they're not going to even waste your time with it. So, Alex, I want to go back to something you said about the guy who approached you at the bowling alley. How was his approach? Was it a respectable? Was it a good approach? Was it something that if you had been interested in him, you would have been receptive to, or was it just like an approach that was kind of not your cup of tea whatsoever? How was that approach?
I don't think I've ever had an experience where I'm like, ugh, back away. I think I'm very neutral and I respect others. I'll let them say their piece. But yeah, I think I like the confidence and the assertiveness, the conviction, and I enjoy meeting people in person. There's like a thrill to it. It's exciting to see if our energies match. But yeah, it wasn't like nothing like, hey, are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only 10 I see. Like it was nothing like that. It was just very like, hey, how are you? How's your day? Like starting a conversation.
Yeah. Okay.
And give him the
Did it?
digits.
That's what I said. Did it go
but
anywhere?
it didn't go anywhere.
No, okay.
Womp womp.
Gotcha. All right. I'm gonna bring to the. This is a guy who's out in the dating market, and I've been on his panel a bunch of times. He's just a really solid guy, and he's probably gonna be the best dressed person on a panel you ever gonna see in your life. Give it up for my man. The Manic Genius is in that building. How is everybody doing? Let me give him an applause because he deserves it. How you doing? You're on mute right now.
I'm on mute. All right.
How you doing? Have you been listening to what's going on with?
No, I just got off the off our channel's podcast. We had a live, so we just finished up. So I just jumped straight on this.
You're doing that. But well, the question. Let me go back to the original. First, we were talking about this original question that I had. It would be so easy to date the opposite sex if they would just fill in the blank.
Ooh, damn, off the spot. It'd be so. First thing that comes to mind, it'd be so easy to date the opposite sex if they wanted what they were willing to give, reciprocity, complete reciprocity.
That's a good answer. A strong answer. Expound upon that, Genius.
I hear a lot of people say what they want in a person and in a partner specifically, and a lot of the times it's not actually what they're willing to bring to the table. So I'm not just talking about from like a financial standpoint. I'm talking about from like, I want somebody to understand me, to be caring, and everybody has their own definition of, everybody has their own definition of relationship dynamics. And a lot of times I feel like we as, people focus on what's going to benefit us and stop and don't necessarily look on is what is beneficial for us. Is it actually mutually beneficial for the relationship?
All right. That's a great answer, but now I got to bring Genius's partner in crime up here. Now, this cat is a really good cat. I like talking to both of these cats together. They're like the dynamic duo. I can't figure out who Batman, who Robin is, though, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. But they just a dope. They have a really dope podcast that you got to check out. They can tell you all about it at the end of the show. Definitely want you guys to subscribe and view their stuff. Give it up to my man. Now, this dude is a sophisticated jerk. And I just don't like calling him jerk every time I want to talk to him, but I guess that's what I'll do. What's up, jerk?
What's good, everybody? Will, you got a dope podcast, man. I'll be watching all y'all and stuff. You too, Dame. So great conversation. So I was actually listening, unlike the man in Genius. You want me to go ahead and jump into the question?
Yeah. Absolutely. Go ahead, brother.
I think it would be much easier to date the opposite sex if people had awareness. Because I think a lot of times people have like self-inflated egos. They either like rate themselves too high. Some people are insecure. So it's like if they had awareness and understood like there's a lot of people out there that probably aligns with them, then I think it would make dating a lot easier.
That's a good point. Self-awareness is been inflated. I mean, people gonna say I'm ringing the same bell, but I think social media has perverted people's self-awareness because they go on, they post pictures, they highly edit them and Photoshop them, and then they get 1,000 views saying you're the best looking thing on planet, like male and female, and then they walk out into the world and they're just like, wait, I'm not getting that same love. It's something wrong with the world, So it's just like it's. I hear you, brother. I really agree with that. That point. That self-awareness is really lacking out in the dating market. So I'm gonna go to Genius again. So what do you find you often like finding the people that you're interested in dating? Where are you going to like approach people and meet people and stuff like that? Where do you go?
I'm still new to the whole dating game, so I'm trying anything. So I was opposed to apps because I was just like, this is so weird. Like I grew up where you just see somebody you're interested in and just go and talk to them and approach them. But that works, obviously, in any environment. You could be at the grocery store, you could be at a bar, you could be at an event. So that still holds true. But I think to cast a wider net, if women are on the apps, then that's where I'm at too. So I use every I use every tool at my disposal. So.
Good evening, Terrence. How can I help?
But it's about,
Alexa. Not that Alexa. Alexa.
See, I mean, even Alexa knows she's hip.
All right. Good question. I'm going to bring in the next question real quick so we can talk about it. I've heard a lot of negative things about the opposite sex, and turns out blank is true. What is the one thing you consistently hear about the opposite sex? You're like, you know what? That actually might be real talk. That may not be just some hateful shit. That might be real talk. I'm going to go to Alexa first.
Can I pass? I don't know.
Well, I'll come back to you then. How about that? You got to think of something because you don't have to. If you don't have anything, that's fine.
Yeah, because I feel like, most men are players. Most men are this. But I think that's just the belief. If you believe that, that's what you're going to see. So if you switch that belief, you're going to experience something else. So. Yeah.
See, it didn't have to be, and you don't have to agree with the question. There you go.
There you go.
How
Yeah, I
about
don't
you?
really agree with the question. Yeah.
How about you, Will?
The one I'll talk about the one that I always hear online. That's always a viral topic. Body count don't matter. Yeah, it's something that I hear all the time online, but it does matter. Based on my own personal experience, it does matter.
Okay. Expound. Why does it matter? Why does it matter to you?
I mean, I don't want to be an analyst to talk about everything, but when a woman experiences so many men, it just causes a lot of problems within her, and I think it's harder to build a committed relationship with a woman that's gone through multitude or plethora of men. Every experience has hardened her. I think it causes a woman to not be in their feminine. They usually come with a lot of baggage. It's hard to build an emotional connection or a bond with that woman. And she's been around men that she's seen a lot of bad habits, or the men have allowed her to act in a certain way. So she thinks of the way she acts. So you literally have to. I mean, is it possible to do it? It is, but the thing it takes a lot of work, and then it's really a matter of the biggest thing for me is the habit of leaving a man every single time things don't work out. So usually when a woman who is promiscuous or has a high body count, whenever things don't work out in the relationship, she's already built a habit within her. Oh, I just go move on to the next guy, move on to the next guy, move on to the next guy. So why would I want to build a committed relationship where we all know it takes work? There's going to be ups and downs. When she's already built a habit or history that if she doesn't like something in a relationship or when there's something difficult, she's just going to move on to the next guy. And I think it does not only affect her physically, but also the mentally, the psychological part, the emotional part. There's a lot of things that affects a woman when she goes through a lot of men. And I think we live in a society today that pushes a lot of women say, it's okay. You can go out there and be sexually free, liberated, have real fun, and still attract the man that you want. And I think a lot of women fall for that lie and they go through that phase. And then they find it really, really hard to attract a good man, but they'll still attract a guy out there because there's always a guy out there that's going to take her. Yeah, that's something that it's always going to be true. That body count does matter, regardless of what society changes and what we see on the internet. They try to change that perception of reality, but it doesn't matter in the real sense.
All right,
Hey,
let me go to TJ. Go ahead, TJ.
Flip side to that is if high body count has dated a lot of times those women know exactly what they want because they've been down the road, walked the path, and they're like, you know what, I know what I don't like, and a lot of times they can kind of zero into exactly what they want because they've had the right amount of experiences. So I'm not a body count dude, and I could never judge anybody's body count, and again, I know I'm a different type of dude, but that's nothing that really matters to me. Like you've had the experiences that led you to be the person that you are now. Mm-hmm. It's kind of how I look at that. So I won't judge. You've been with 10 dudes, 30 dudes, whatever. Like you can't be a good person.
I'm not judging her, TJ. I'm not judging her as a human being, her personal value. I'm judging her based on her sexual market value when it comes to relationships. So I'm not saying that those women are bad people. I'm just saying when it comes to relationships, it's different. Their value when it comes to relationships is a lot different when just being a human being. I'm not going to treat them any different.
That's what I'm saying. Their relationship value doesn't decrease for me because they've had sex with guys.
Yeah. So what about you, Genius? What do you think?
The whole body count? Yeah. I always come with some level of fuckery, so I'm gonna have to agree with my man at the top to some extent. I think that body count in relation to age, matters. You're not going to judge somebody who's made it to, in their 40s to a standard that somebody in their 20s has, or as far as body count. So I think context matters, when it comes to body count. I do agree that there's pros and cons to dealing with somebody who has a high body count. As I don't see anybody's name on here.
What's happening here?
Yeah, on the bottom side, yeah, somebody might understand, what they want, sexually, because they had a lot of experience. So I guess that's a pro, but that the con is that maybe they are too sexually experienced, for your personal taste.
Mhm.
So, and that might have to do with their ability to form a bond. Because I mean, if you're just out here just constantly, and you're just moving and shaking, then you don't really have that same value that you had when you first started that process, and you're more selective. So, yeah, I think everybody has their own personal preference on what body count number is good for them. But I listen to more or less, not so much of the number, like the context, the stories. Like, hey, was this a phase when you went through, or was this like you're consistently ripping and running, or this all happened like 5 years ago, and now you've been in steady relationships for the past 2-3 years. So it matters to some degree. I won't say it doesn't matter.
What about you, Jerk?
I'm with my man down here, and I can't remember his name.
Will up the top.
No.
No, the guy that's on the other side of Manic. It doesn't matter.
TJ.
Yeah, I'm older. I got one foot in the grave. Body count don't matter. But I think it's like back in the day, like if you're looking for long term, it definitely matters, because Will and Manic, they kind of outlined, I say, some of the pros, where I do think it alters your mind, where you're just always seeking. You're kind of never satisfied to a certain degree. So I do see that, but I do think when you get a certain age, you're kind of out of that phase where certain things you just understand, like at my age now, that you have some experience. You got to be realistic with it. You can't be looking for purity in your 40s and 50s.
Yeah. One of the things I've seemed to notice, and I've kind of just watched people talk around the body count thing, I think the biggest fear is that they worry that women have detached sex from emotion, to where if they get mad at you or what have you, they know that they have, and because women have easier access to sex, that if there's some kind of discord in the or some kind of dysfunction in the relationship, instead of working at it, they'll just utilize their access to sex and have sex with somebody else, because it's some way for them to feel some way of easy affirmation. And I don't think that's always the case. I think that's painting a lot of women with a broad brush. I think that it's so, you got to break it down. I think it's a lot of times when it's coming, it's like high body count. I'm like, when I break it down, I'm like, look, if you say, what if I told you is 3 too big of a number? If a woman had 3 sex partners in her whole life, is that too big of a number? For most part, people would say probably not. No, but I said, what if she had 3 in the same day though? What if all 3 of those were in the same day? Do you still feel like she has do you view that she's more valuable to somebody that had 20 over or 15 over a 20-year period? It's just, are you looking at, and a time where a woman can kind of, is there any kind of grace for growth? If somebody had a reckless past in their early 20 to 25 or what have you, they experienced some things. Maybe it was some emotional shit that was going on. Maybe they did some work and they've separated themselves and they divested themselves from everything related to that past. Then I think they shouldn't still be judged on it. Because I always said, if you slept with 30 people in Miami, but you live in LA, and you haven't slept with anybody, you a LA virgin. So that's the kind of way. That's the way it is. It's just like I think a lot of dudes attach it with, like, they put it to where I don't want to be walking out with my girl and a bunch of dudes be like, oh, I smashed, blah blah blah. I'm like, but what happens if it's 5 years later from the last when she was exhibiting or living in that behavior, and she's in a whole different place in her life? I'm not talking about just physically, like she don't dress, talk, act, associate with the same people. how can you not give that person some grace and respect the change that has made as for instead of punishing them for the transgressions they made when they were in their younger years. Don't get me wrong, if she's still in that way of thinking, run quick, setting yourself up for some bullshit. But I'm always a proponent because I've done a lot of like changing of who I am. If the old cat that you wouldn't think me and the cat that I was back in the day even lived on the same block. But it's because there's been a significant amount of change and growth there. So I just feel like what it does is it limits people because you just discount all the growth somebody, and the growth can be impressive that somebody grew and changed and developed themselves. And it may be something that you might be attracted to because she can weather a storm. But that's just Dave.
Yeah.
And as typical, it's us dudes, I guess judging women on their body count. Does our body count matter? I guess I'll ask the lady.
We'll ask that to the lady.
Slow down over there. We gotta take that to the grave, player.
Wait, I kind of want to go back to that. So, like, back to like the women's situation. Like, if we're being honest, like, I think it goes back to the original question, right? Like, with the honesty, like, if more men was more upfront of like what they initially wanted, like, we wouldn't waste so much time because, like, how many women are you going to really find that's like, nah, I'm just here to fuck and like I'm keeping it pushing, right? Like that's not the realities of a lot of women. Most women are getting with men and they feel like they have to be sexual with them in order for them to like them or have a relationship with them, because most of us want a relationship, right? And so then it's like that man is like, nah, like I don't want a relationship. And so she's like, damn, I just spent my time with you, put my energy into you, had sex with you. Now I got to move on and try and find like a new relationship, right? And so I think like for that, it's like, obviously it's usually like in your younger years, like you're going through that because most women aren't, when like you're in college, like you haven't found yourself to be like, no, this is what I'm going to accept and this is what I'm not going to accept. And so like, unfortunately, like you keep moving on to like new people until you find somebody that's like, nah, I kind of want to be with you, right? And so by then you probably slept with 5-7 people, and then it's like by the time like you're in your 30s, like hopefully you found some stable relationships to when you got up there. But unfortunately, it's like it's not necessarily always the women that's just like just sleeping around because like you want to, like I don't think we had that structure because a lot of us also didn't have like an example, growing up to be like, okay, this is what you accept out of a man and this is what you don't accept. And so we're all learning that as we become like out of our households, right? We're in college living on our own, or we go and live on our own in an apartment and like we're working or whatever. And so now it's these experiences that's coming with life and you're starting to learn yourself what you're going to accept and what you're not going to accept. And so by the time you figure that out, unfortunately, you probably slept with like 8 to 12 people or whatever your number is. And so I think that in that sense, it's like going back to like what you guys said, you see where people learn, right? You see where they are now. Like, okay, is that what she's doing today? Like, who is she today? Did she grow from that? Like, what type of woman is she? What is her morals? And you're able to get to know her and understand that better than just like thinking like this woman was just hoeing out. When it's like, y'all should probably tell some of your little beta boys to be more honest or something, like if we're being honest, like just men just need to be honest with women in general. And just, I think it'll save a lot of people time, heartache, and just like body count.
Yeah,
I gotta give a little pushback on that.
Let me just say something real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
I know some $200 on the nightstand like whores who have and who are seriously, they're IT professionals. What's called? I'm making this up because I want any IT professional to be like, that's me. You're talking about me. They're IT professionals in Seattle. They're not. She's not an IT professional, but she's PTA, kids, husband, cookouts in the backyard, and you would have no clue of her past because she completely divested herself from everything related to that, and she really wanted to. And the person that she met in the other state didn't know none of that because she didn't represent none of that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, if there's some dysfunction there, you may not be able to all do by yourself just by just removing yourself. You may need to go see somebody like Alexa who can help you work.
Yeah, because then you start to feel like you're just being objectified. So you're like, okay, if a man isn't going to really want to be with me or settle with me or want to like invest in me, then shit, like this is just what I'm worth, I guess. You know, like some people don't have that mindset to be stronger to like bypass that phase of their life, and shit comes with that.
What about you, Renee? What you got to say on the subject?
The question was, does body count matter? Was that it?
I mean, should it matter? Should it matter?
No, honestly. Okay, for I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't think so. In the end, does that really reflect who they are as a person? That's pretty much it, you know.
It can, if they're still living in that kind of mindset.
Okay, yes, if they are, yeah. But know, if they're kind of past that phase in their life, like, and I don't think so. I don't know. Like for me, though, in general, like I'm never one to really judge like that. I feel like everybody, even myself, we've all had our things that we've messed up on. And it just, what matters though is like, did you learn from it? Who are you now on 12/12/2023? Like, do you still have that same F girl, F boy mentality that you had, let's just say, when you were in college? Again, it's you control your narrative.
All right. What about you, Alexa?
Kind of back to what Jorg said earlier about self-awareness. You have to be aware relationships are affecting you on an emotional level, and somebody might react differently sleeping with 10 people, or like somebody else sleeping with 10 people. Somebody might feel very secure within themselves, and somebody might experience insecurity sleeping with all of these people. So you just have to be aware of how they're affecting you emotionally, and having that recognition of realization of how it's affecting the way that you show up in the world. And ultimately, it doesn't matter if you heal from it, if you learn from it, and you release those emotions that were stuck with you.
I agree. I want to give a shout out to one of the coolest cats on the planet who has the golden vocal tone. Mr. Pelafessa is in the house. What's up, brother? I'm glad you had a chance to check us out. Love chatting with this guy. He is so insightful, and it just really brings things into perspective. So he's a good cat. All right, so the question was, we got into the whole body count thing. The original question was, X needs to be. I've heard a lot of negative things about the opposite sex, and I found out this could actually be true. I'm gonna go to you, TJ.
And I'm gonna kind of push back on this question too. So I will say I've heard a lot of things about the opposite sex, and damn near none of it is true. Like, okay, there's again, I'm not a blanket dude. Like every woman is this. You'll meet some women that I guess fit in that box or meet that criteria, and you'll meet a whole bunch that don't. So there's no one thing that I've heard about the opposite sex and it just turns out to be true for all of the opposite sex.
So you don't think there's some foundational things just about a woman's nature that can be categorized as true, or there's a consensus around it that mostly is true? I know there are.
I would say maybe like they're emotional, but I mean that's not a bad thing. I didn't emotional them, but that's not a bad thing.
All right. One of the things I learned is like a lot of times it says they prioritize. Is a lot of times they can prioritize security over respect in relationships. If the guy can provide a significant amount of security and things like that, they don't necessarily have to respect them as much. And I found out and this is what I'm finding out, not from dating, because I've been out of the dating market for a very long time, but just from the things that I'm hearing about people who are in the dating market. And it's been a consensus that women will sacrifice the respect for the person they're with if he provides a significant level of security, whether it be in most chances, it can be financial, where women will not respect the guy, but I got a big house, I got all this, I got the things, So I'll make that deal all day. And this is what I'm hearing by just being on these shoes, that women are willing to make that trade off.
And that sounds more to me like a woman that doesn't respect herself than the man. If you're willing to just say like, I'll just live here and not be happy because that sounds like more like she don't respect herself than the man.
Well, that could be true. That could be something that somebody said it turns out to be true. Anybody else want to chime in on that? I won't call everybody. Anybody else who had an experience where they're thinking, okay, I've heard this, and unfortunately, I look at Genius. He got something on his side right now. I can look at his face.
I mean, it kind of piggybacks off of what you were saying. I'll just use it and just put it in plain language. Selfish. Fill in that blank. Selfish. So that's definitely a negative trait to have, and I think ultimately we're all a little selfish, but I find it very selfish to look at relationships solely as, what can this person bring to my life, and looking at it from that standpoint. So I think we're all looking for somebody to compliment us and, make things better or more entertaining or more happy, whatever the case may be. But for the most part, and I'm making a very large generalization here, when I hear the majority of women talk about what they want in a man, a lot of times it's things that is a direct benefit to their lifestyle, whether it's resources or I want somebody fun. I want somebody to make me happy. I want somebody who's, can pay for this, or I want to be a soft woman. I want a provider. Like I want a guy to kind of finance my lifestyle while I stay at home and use the modern tools we have to just manage a household. And kids are fun, so I like kids. So it's like take care of kids too. But it's like that's just such an easy life, and like I think if it wasn't such a stigma, that a lot of people, including men, would take that deal. Stay at home, watch the kids, clean a house, and have somebody finance their lifestyle.
You ready for it, Genius? Here it comes. Go ahead. I heard Stevie say something.
I said, wait, it's not easy. Like, I don't know about like everybody else probably see it easy, but I think I'm more so like the traditional side, right? I'm like, that's a full-time job, like, because I got to make sure my kids are good. And then it's like, I got to make sure my house is clean. I got to make sure like you got clean laundry, you got dinner coming home, you got lunch and everything, like also making sure that mentally you're still being like, I'm still mentally like engaged with you, I'm still emotionally making sure you're okay. Like it's a lot, like, so I wouldn't say it's easy.
Well, I mean, if you're an independent job,
yes, but
I would just say if you're an independent man, you're kind of already doing your own laundry, you're making your own food. I have my own place, and on my mortgage, my place is clean. I cook myself. I do have a child, so I take care. my cook is fire, but all the things that I think there is some value for some men, but if you're a man who can already self-regulate and don't necessarily need that, then I think somebody that's actually out there bringing in resources will be a better fit. But that's not everybody's. Everybody has their own relationship dynamic, but I think that when looking at it objectively and saying that I want somebody to come into my life and take care of, everything financially, and I'm going to be confined to this household and do these, chores that, if we're being honest, like any teenager can kind of do, with the exception of cooking. That does take time and skill.
Gito, you don't
Alexa.
Okay.
No, go ahead, Will. Go ahead, Will.
What's the brother's name? I forgot his name. I'm sorry.
So figure out a way to put these
Just
names
call-
up. I don't
just
know
call
how to
me
do it.
Manic.
I'm tripping.
Manic.
Manic.
Also,
Man,
Manny, you don't,
yeah.
you don't. Do you believe in like gender roles, biological roles?
To some degree, absolutely. To some degree,
To some degree, okay.
yeah.
All right, Alexa. Actually, you shifted. What do you got to say?
No, I'm just listening. I answered this question
No, I'm just
prior.
related to what they're saying about, like, do you agree with him saying about the easy it is to be a stay-at-home and the gender roles?
No, it's not easy. It's a lot of work. You're doing a lot at once, not just I'm just gonna cook now. No, you're cooking and you're also watching the kids. You're watching the kids and you're also making appointments. It's not easy. No.
Yeah, and I agree. It does look easy, but when you see it in action, you know it's very difficult. Because I don't even know my kids' teachers' names. Typing them, emailing them, making sure that the homework is done, and all this kind of stuff like that. I couldn't tell you my kids' doctor's name. And the reason why that's okay, it frees me up to focus in on bringing in finance in the life and maintaining the lifestyle, and even working harder to upgrade the lifestyle if we want to. All I'm saying is, like, that helps. That not have to do that. Do you think, like, if you had to do all those things consistent basis, you have to pick up the kids, watch the kid, or what have you, the opportunities to where you could put yourself in a position to make more money would be somehow limited? That, like, you can't necessarily be like, oh, I can.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely, I agree with that.
And that's what I'm talking about. Go ahead.
I think we also take away from the fact that's like kind of back to what you're saying, like for me at least, I can't speak for everybody, but I think that like my place, like my man is supposed to like build the structure, right? And I'm supposed to fill in like the nitty gritty. I'm supposed to make sure everything else is running good and smooth. And I'm supposed to be like that backbone, right? Because like you can, like kind of how you pointed it out, right? Like you can choose the house that we're going to buy, but like I'm going to be the one to make sure like the inspectors come to inspect everything's working, right? While you're making like these decisions, because I don't know, but I'm like it's more to it. Like we got to get a little more credit.
Yeah, I've seen it in
Talking about like if you want somebody to come into your life and fulfill a certain need, like almost like that's a bad thing. Like can I cook? Yep. Do I enjoy it?
We know, like most of
Right.
the men, like you should know how to cook. I would hope you could survive on your own if I'm gone for a week or so. But you should be glad that you come home to a nice cooked meal after you just slaved all day at work. You know, you should be glad that your sheets are cleaned. You know.
Yeah, if I can find a woman who loves cooking, like, hey baby, come on, because I do it, but I don't love it. So if I find somebody who loves it, yeah, baby, come on.
I guess I
about
just
you,
like the challenge of learning the things. So cooking different meals is like, it doesn't always come out good, but it's pretty cool for me.
Yeah.
Hey Manic, I had a question for Manic. If you met a woman that did all those things for you, like I know you cook and clean, because the same thing for me, I do it for myself. But if a woman came in your life and did those things for you to kind of take away that burden from you, so you can focus on more of the things that you want to do, would you say that your life would be a lot more better and easier as a man?
Absolutely, if she had a job. But if she doesn't have a job, then I'm taking care of a person, and she's a dependent essentially. So no, it'll make my job a little bit harder. So I have to cater to her emotions, and I don't need help spending my money.
But then when you have kids, you want kids, right?
Yeah. Oh
Okay, so
no, I have a son. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when
Yeah,
you
so I take
have
care of him
kids,
too.
would you prefer your woman to stay at home full time and raise your kid?
If I just one kid, no, absolutely not. Now if I had like 3, 4, 5 kids, then yeah, that would make more sense, because that's running a village at that point. And so I have a lot of respect for women who have a lot of children, and they're taking care of those roles, and getting their lunches and organized, and paying attention to all the details of each of their children. So I'm not saying that there's no value in that, but just 1 kid, 2 kid, no, that's daycare, preschool, private tutors, or a Montessori school. My kid goes to one of those. So I try to make sure that just trying to put the family in the best position possible. And I think in 2023, soon to be 2024, two incomes, increasing those resources can go a little bit further than having somebody at home, kind of like that you have to additional person to take care of.
Okay, what about you, Jerk? Go ahead.
As far as this question as far as like the household and stuff.
Look at the household and stuff, man. Not this question. This question, we can stand on this one right now.
Okay. Well, kind of what Manic outlined. Me and my wife, we had one kid, both worked, took them to daycare and different schools like that. So, I mean, son's like 20 something now, doing good in school. So I think a lot of this boils down to preference. And I think we do push a lot I think Will was asking about the traditional roles. I mean, you're still going to be man and female at the end of the day, whatever you decide. I think people need to look at, the household more as like, what is sufficient for us? Because like Manic was kind of outlined, and it's like, hey, if there's 20 tasks, we both tackle 10. We done made it more efficient. Okay, we both go out and we become successful. We got like flexible jobs. Then it's just like, we could still, pump into the family and stuff like that. But now we could like pay down debt faster, from a financial standpoint. So I just think you got to map out the strategy and stuff. But I mean, I do see value where people staying at home, if they want to teach the kids. Like I said, it boils down to preference. I give full credit to anybody that stays at home because kids annoy me. I couldn't do it, so I kind of give that credit when it's due from that standpoint. But yeah, so that's just my stance.
Let me give a shout out to Professor real quick. Hold on. Let me give Professor real quick. Credit goes to both men and women who have a healthy view and understanding of how relationships and marriage work. You'll often find them not comparing their work they do to each other. I agree with that. And I want to give out to Jennifer Schultz. She's just been a dope supporter of the podcast and of my IG channel. What's up, Jennifer? Mom things, but they aren't truly appreciated. Her mom things, but then don't truly appreciate her doing them. Okay. All right. What were you going to say, TJ?
I think a lot of times when men have the expectation that hey, my woman works too, so both put in 40 hours a week, and it's not always the case. But then at home, it's like the woman is typically expected to do more, cook, clean, and the man kind of goes home, chilling on the couch like this. Hey, I work.
I don't believe in that.
The women work too. So a lot of times it's the man will expect 40 hours from both, but then 40 hours of chores for the woman and maybe 10 for him. That's not always the case, but I've seen that quite a bit.
Yeah, they do get those expectations coming home, so you do got to adjust, like you saying.
And I'm gonna
Sorry about that, thing.
And I'm gonna tell you what. No, it's all good, brother. I'm gonna tell you why. Because generally, in those dynamics, the man is making majority of the money, making a higher wage, so they're probably paying more of the household bills. So they're thinking, okay, even though we're both working 40 hours, I'm making 120,000, you're making 70,000, and I'm paying more much this and the other. So it's expected a lot of times that you're gonna be like, well, to even it out, I should never have to fold and wash a dish in my life. That's the kind of things they add it up, and it's like, well, we make it even. I'm higher on the financial, you're higher on the home, the work at home, so that evens it out. So that's why it's usually expected a lot of times for guys to have less when they do at home. And would you agree with that point, Manic?
To some degree, because I mean, there's got to be context. So it's like the Jerk said, everybody has their own preference, but I think that if you're requiring or requesting that your partner go out there and work just as hard as you are, you have to pick up the slack when it comes home. So the gender doesn't change, when you guys come home. But I don't think that it's a feminine job to clean. I think any responsible adult needs to know how to clean. Any responsible adult needs to know how to do their laundry, fold their laundry, and cook. So it's like the Jerk said, if there's 20 tasks of the household, then we need to divide that, and maybe I'm stronger at doing 15 of those 20 tasks because, inherently there's some tasks that, maybe I have a specialty in, like I can hang up any TV, I'm pretty handy. So I wouldn't expect her to do any of those tasks. And if she has a strong suit in cooking or, whatever it is, but, I think the tasks should need to be divided amongst the household and best aligned to, get the result that you guys are looking for. And if that's a clean, household, safe environment, I can't decorate for shit. So, when it comes to things like that, I'm not even going to have really a say in that. Cause that doesn't really matter too much to me.
All right. Let me give Jennifer Schultz some love because she her comment got split, and I want to give it to her right. She wrote, "I've also seen where men want women to stay home and do all the work of the stay-at-home mom things, but they don't truly appreciate them for them." So that was her comment. It's all good. I'll just get your point out, TJ, but I want to get back to the crux of the show, which is dating. So go ahead, TJ. Say what you're gonna say.
I was just gonna say a lot of like the scenario you brought up where I make more money, so I pay the mortgage. I should be able to do less. It's not like paying a mortgage is a hard task. It's automated. It typically just comes out honest. It's not like you like, man, I'm tired as hell for paying that mortgage. So like those tasks don't really equal. That's just my
I'm saying, and I agree for the most part, but I'm saying that is the sentiment what I'm hearing in the streets. It's just like, okay, if my financial, because if it's expected, I'm going to, whatever I do, I have to pay the majority, or if not all of the bills, even if you're working, then there's something that you should have, unfortunately, there's something that you should have to do all of or most of in case to make it even. There's a lot of people that have that mentality.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's real.
But I've also seen
All
where
right.
like a lot of men feel entitled because they're a man, that whether like they make more or not,
That
like,
is true.
feel like I'm the man of the house, so like that's your job, right? And I'm just like, it's not too many. I think that women are making a lot more money than average man today, and so I think that it's just the entitlement of men feeling like this is my role and this is who I am, like respect it, right? Because do I get to say I'm making more money, so how about when I get home everything's together? Like I want to make sure like you guys are cooking for me, right? All the laundry's done, because I go work 40 hours a week and I'm bringing in way more than you. So do I get to say that? No, right? Like I don't. I still gotta go make more money than you, pay the mortgage because I'm probably financially more stable and financially literate than you, and I still gotta come make sure like I tend to you. So it's
wow.
Handle your business, queen. No.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm going to talk about another question that's come up quite a bit, and when I've been on these streets and people talking about dating, what have you.
Can I tackle this one real quick, Dave?
Go ahead, brother.
Because I got one
brother.
for it because it just happened. I was talking to one of my female like cousins, and I think one of the negative things, and it turns out to be true, is there's some confusion out there. I would say like there's a lot of confusion in the opposite sex, because my cousin, she gave me like a scenario. She was like, I want an ambitious guy, but I also want him home like all the time too. And I had to tell her, I'm like, how the hell is that gonna work out? If he's ambitious, he ain't gonna be around that much. He's gonna be working around, the clock. He's gonna be trying to climb that corporate ladder. So I think I had to break it down to her. I was like, hey, you're a little delusional with that. You're confused. So that's what I'm seeing a lot. People's expectations a little misaligned, I'll say.
It was like they want the sensitive, buff guy who write poetry.
Yeah.
Penis, love his mama, all this kind of stuff. It's just not realistic. Oh, God, I agree with that. I've heard that a lot. It's been some variation of that, like this unicorn magical super band that anything else is settling.
Yeah,
I've heard that. So
it's definitely a lot of delusion going on with our group of people.
Yeah. I mean,
the Lulu is the Salulu.
I'm telling you, women are so delusional, sometimes, but it takes a man to bring you back to reality,
I want a thug. I want a thug poetry.
Thug that writes poetry.
You know, an ex-gang member who own a business, who,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
700 credit. You know,
Yes.
you know, that kind of shit.
Okay.
Anything you want to chime in on, Alexa?
No, not at this point right now, but I'm
I just want to
loving.
make
I,
sure
I
you get
love
it.
hearing all the perspectives.
Okay, I just want to make sure you feel like you anytime you want to jump in, make sure you're more than welcome. Just chime in. You just cut somebody off, especially if it's TJ. He ain't gonna care. All right. All right. So this has become up a lot. It's like expectation during like the talking and like the first few days and weeks and months of dating, what have you. And it seems to be a lot of confusion around this point, and I kind of want to get an idea of what you guys thinking about it. How soon after you start seeing one do you expect fidelity? How soon do you be like, okay, you got to only see me? Like, is there a certain time? Is it after the first time you have sex with him? Like, when do you expect, if you're going out with a guy, that he shouldn't be entertaining anybody else? Or if you're going out with one, you should be the only guy that she's kind of messing with. Let's go to Alexa first, because she hasn't had a chance to really chime in anything.
Yeah, I would say before you have sexual relations, you should make sure that you're exclusive. That can be a week from meeting them. It can be 3 months. It can be 6 months, and you've just been dating. But have that communication open, and also whether you're a man or a woman, make sure that you communicate what it is that you're looking for. And if you want to be exclusive and you don't want them seeing anybody else, make sure that you voice that. Many of us are too scared to voice it, and then that's when we start to get hurt. And they're like, well, you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me that you didn't want me to sleep around with other people. So there's nothing I can do about it. So yeah, just voice what you want. And sometimes many of us don't even know what we want. So figure out what it is that you're looking for. If you're okay with somebody sleeping around, then you can't get mad when you find out that that's what they're doing. So just know what you want and communicate what you want.
Do you feel like somebody, if a guy says to you, like, look, I really like you, and your personality is dope, anything like that, but sex is a part of who I enjoy sex, and since we're not at the point where we're having it, I'm going to not necessarily cut off what I have, but I still want to date you. Do you look at him in a different way, or do you kind of say, well, he's not taking me seriously, and you kind of like, you won't give it your all? Do you feel like you give it the same energy?
I probably wouldn't give it the same energy. No, I would be turned off, and I'll probably distance myself. Yeah. Okay. And there's plenty more fish in the sea. So thanks.
Okay.
Damn, that was smooth as hell what you just did.
Yeah, that was smooth.
How you like said that you're like a pimped out Jedi Knight, you know?
Yeah, that's a hell of a question.
I was writing that down. I'm like, damn.
I had a little game back in the day.
I've learned my lesson, so I'm not making the same mistakes again. So, yeah.
All right. What about you, Renee?
How soon after you start seeing someone do you expect fidelity? Okay, from personal experience, not too soon, only because it takes a while to really get to know a person, their like their kinks and all that stuff. If I were back in the dating game, maybe 3 to 6 months, I would like to see fidelity or like exclusivity.
Okay. You're talking about, is that 3 to 6 months prior to you sleeping with him, or you may sleep with him and then he can still kind of do his thing, but if it's 3 months past, you need to stop?
Yeah.
What are you saying specifically? Okay, so you're not asking.
Part, honestly.
You're not asking until you start catching feelings and you think, okay, this needs to go somewhere it don't.
Yeah. So basically, if I were, sexually attracted to a man and we were doing XYZ before we became exclusive, like, sure, that's fine. But like I said, maybe 3 to 6 months, like, then I'm gonna be like, okay, so what are we?
Yeah. All right. But are you expecting him to not be seeing anybody else?
Before the 3 to 6 months thing?
Yeah.
Shoot, he could do whatever he wants. You know what I mean? But like I said, unless we've made it official, like who am I to be like, you can't see
Okay.
them.
I can say your position is a rare one in these streets. How about you, Stevie? Oh, go ahead, Renee. What are you gonna say?
Oh no, go ahead. I'm good.
Go ahead, Stevie.
I think that like I know myself, and I'm not sleeping with nobody I'm not with, and I'm also a grown ass woman. I'm like, if we're dating, that's fine. Like, I'm not gonna stop you doing whatever you're doing, right? Because this is like the trials, anyways. You should see who you want to be with, and like I'm not sleeping with you. You can be sleeping with whoever you want to sleep with, and that's fine. The vibe's not going to change because at the end of the day, like I said, if I'm not with you, I'm not sleeping with you. So who I was and who I came into it with you as, like my vibe, that's just me. That's who I'm always going to be. Nothing's changing, nothing's switching up. Just go have your fun. I want you to do that actually, so that you can learn and see exactly what you want. And then you're gonna be like, nah, like nothing's matching what's over there, because I know what I bring to the table. I know who I am. And when you're ready, then we could talk about something else. But we cool, like we could still hang out, date, go out, or do whatever. But not like we're not sleeping together. No.
Can I
Go ahead, Renee.
also kind of explain my whole rationality thing? And the whole reason why I said I wouldn't trip is because you better have that same energy with me if I'm giving you that freedom. Like, don't expect me to stop seeing other men, until you make it official with me. I'm just saying, it goes both ways,
I hear
baby.
you.
I'm
So-
I hear you. Okay.
I'm too clingy though. See, I'd be like, that's why I'd be like, when I date somebody, I'm like, I'll let you do you, but like, I know how I am. Like, I'm so clingy. I love my person. And I don't have that same expectation, because that's not who I am. Like morally, like what you do over there is just like what you do. But like me, I'm still going to be like who I'm going to be myself. And I don't need to date like other people, or, like mess around to figure out like what I want, like if I'm interested in you, like if I'm entertaining you, then it's usually like just you that I want to entertain. So yeah.
Like,
Okay.
I'll give an example though. Like, I have a friend, like single, and she was like talking to multiple guys at once, and I'm like, you know what, baby, you do you, because until one of them say, hey, I would like you to be my girlfriend and all that stuff, like, why tie yourself down to one person? Like, I don't know, that's just me.
Yeah, I just think as women, though, we also have to be realistic. Like, we can't put expectations on a man if we're still dating around, right? Like, who am I to be like, oh, like you could go do you or whatever, like, and you're dating all these people, but like I'm still doing me. Like, I shouldn't even be having a conversation of what you're doing, like. If you're dating around, like, why am I even asking you what you're doing? Why am I even questioning that, right? Like, that's not my place. But like, if I'm bringing that conversation up to you, like, I'm probably more so focused, like, okay, I'm really interested in you. I want to see where this can go. And until you figure it out, like, that's when you could come back or whatever, like, so we can make it mended. But I don't know. I think that women just be so, again, it goes back to the entitlement and the delusion of women. Like, we feel like we can check you about what you're doing, but nobody could check us. And you're still out here being whoever you are, and it's like, that's not how it works.
Okay. Good. I appreciate you all being so forthcoming. Now I'm gonna switch it up for the men. It's gonna be a interesting question for y'all. How soon do you provide fidelity when you start dating somebody? At what point do you start being exclusive or whatever when you start dating somebody? Not when you expect fidelity, because just keep it funky. Men expect fidelity from the jump.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like date 2.
Yeah.
Exactly. And be like, okay, I'll go with you, Will. When would you provide fidelity? You're seeing somebody. Will you, let's not even make it a sex. You just will not entertain anybody else, whether it's dating, sex, or whatever.
Well, I mean, in the past, I only expected fidelity until I made it official. Until I fully committed, that's when I expected fidelity. But now, if you're talking about at this point of my life right now, I'm dating with intention. I'm dating for marriage. I don't. I've gone what I've gone through. I'm ready to settle down. I know exactly where I want to go. I know my plans of what I want. And the type of woman that I would date, and I'll definitely make sure she qualifies and be very selective. But I'm making sure that she's looking for the same thing. So I'm dating for something long term. I want a family, I want marriage, and I'm looking for a woman. So that conversation wouldn't even be a question, because I understand that if I select a woman that's looking for the same thing, we're not looking to mess around or seek other people. We're looking for something long term, so off the jump. So I'm not going to entertain any other woman that's not looking for the same thing. So the women that just want to participate in casual hookup culture, have fun, I mean, I wouldn't even select them at all. So I'm looking for something long term. I'm looking for marriage. I'm looking for something that's going to work out and be successful. So that's the person I'm gonna select, and then it's going to be off the rip in the beginning. The first date, we're just going to get to know each other. The second date, I'm going to lay out my expectations and what I want, and just to make sure she just has the same thing. And if our values and vision aligns, if it doesn't, if she brings up, that's too soon, I still want to see other people, then you know what, we don't. That's fine. You can do your thing, but I think we're not compatible and we're not looking for the same thing, and I'll just keep it moving. So that's my response to that.
All right. How about you, Manny?
I knew he's gonna go to me. When it comes to fidelity, I'm also like looking to date or dating with intention. So I'll say that my fidelity, starts, as I get to know you. Like the first date, I'm obviously attracted to you. That's surface level stuff. But as I'm talking to you, I'm kind of feeling your energy, because I think a lot of women have it misconstrued when they think, oh, well, I was dating this guy and we slept together and then it didn't go anywhere. It's like you guys were getting to know each other, and somewhere along those lines, he decided that you weren't the one he was looking for. So it's not necessarily that he was playing you. It's like maybe he had every intention of, having something much further. But, through the conversation, he realized, just like the gentleman up there realized, hey, she said she's not going to stop doing her own thing, so we're not compatible. And you think, oh, he just played me. It's like, that's not the truth. The reality is that he saw something in you, and then through the vetting process, you vetted yourself out, or he vetted you out. So I think with fidelity, it starts off the rip. If I don't have anything that, or a woman that I'm dealing with, then, fidelity starts as soon as I'm interested. So now if you're one of those women who like have strong constraints on like, hey, we're not sleeping together until, 3 weeks or 3 months, or you have those hard constraints, then I got to make adjustments, like, because I do have, physical needs, and it just depends on where it's coming from. If it's rooted in like faith or something that's legit, then, maybe I'll ride that wave with you. But if it's rooted off of, well, studies show, or I heard, or Steve Harvey says, and it's like, no, I'm my own
90-day rule.
Yeah, I don't do 90-day rules.
Manic, she's a LA virgin, like Damien said.
I don't do 90-day rules. Save that for somebody else. So, I mean, that's a quick way to vet yourself out. So, my fidelity, especially if we're actually like, getting physical, then honestly, I don't want to deal with a whole bunch of women, because I mean, it's just too much different emotions going on. I just honestly don't have the mental bandwidth for it, because I work, I have like personal goals, and I am an ambitious person. So I try to like maximize my schedule, and having multiple women in rotation sounds good in theory, but you got to entertain these motherfuckers. So it's just like, I'm good on that. I just need one to like, get me over and, potentially be something for real.
You need that medicine once in a while. Get the poison out.
Yeah.
All right, you TJ. What do you say to that?
So
I think I know the answer to this left and right, but go ahead, brother.
dating with no intention right now. But again,
I respect that.
In my second career, like a retired Air Force, I'm in my second career. So just I'm 52, so I'm older, so I'm just in a different phase of my life where it's I just want to enjoy life and have fun right now. I might get to the point where I want to like seriously date somebody, but right now just not dating with intention. So I guess to answer the question is, it's a conversation I'm willing to have with the right person. But typically I'm just like, hey, I'm that guy that says like, hey, we can have a great time together. We can kick it, but I'm not gonna be your man. You can do your thing, but we can have a great time together. Like I'll just be that guy that when you need what you need, you can come here and we can,
You be the cleanup man.
I'll be a gentleman. I'll show you a great time, and it's working for me right now. But I'm not anti-relationship or against it. If the right person comes along, we can definitely have that conversation.
True. I guess me and you, Jerk, ours would just be in theory or in the past because we're both in long-term relations, long-term marriages. Yeah, exactly.
It's 12 months for me. And the reason I put it in months so it don't sound that bad, but yeah, no, it'll be about 12, like a year, I would say. Need to work some things out of my system, make sure like we're going down the right path. So yeah, I give it about a solid year.
Like mine's has always been, if I'm looking to get into a relation with you, I meet you and I'm like, wow, this is a person who could take me off the market for, because they got all these great qualities. She got all these great qualities. I'll say you could have back in the day expected fidelity the first time we have sex. I'm not gonna go and have you and then go to the next chick and all that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna do that because it's not right in my morally not right and just not safe and all this kind of stuff like that. So it's just one of those things where before I to be crass, before I stick my dick in you ain't got no say in where my dick go before I go into you. And that's just the way I feel. It's like once we have sex, then you do, because it's your health on the line as well. So and you'll get it after I've had sex with you. That's when you can expect fidelity from me. I want to acknowledge some of the people in the chat. I want to give my man, this is my guy right here. This is the Angry Ginger right here, Progressive Matters. What's up, buddy? It's good to see you in the chat. Let me read some of these comments I got here. They put some stories in here, so I'm not gonna do them all. This is from Kiki. I absolutely feel that, Renee. A lot of us learn from experience anyway. So how are you supposed to figure out what you like when you don't like, and what you don't like? Also learn how to be detached to a certain extent. Cause did she have what? Not finna, like I've done in the past, end up fully catching feelings because I'm so focused on one person and they're doing whatever the fuck. I end up heartbroken and in the end, so hell yeah, I'm a date around a bit, more gain experience, practice, and learn boundaries. All right, and then Jennifer says, I feel like there's not a set time frame. You definitely have to set the expectations and what the end goal is. If the vibe is there, then why not see where it goes instead of entertaining many others? I get you on that. I agree with that. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm always one of those cats. Like if the vibe is I'm rocking with you enough, the vibe is cool, you can take me out of the game easy. But when I'm single motherfucker. If I'm not seeing that, I don't want to hear no talk. I don't want to hear you have no there's no fidelity talks or whatever like that. I'm more where TJ is now, but when I was single.
I would say one thing also for I know it's holiday season. For all the ladies that's watching this right now, I need somebody to take back at home. Holler my boy DJ.
TJ, exactly. All right. Let's call it. this is a question that came up and this is going to be like one of the last questions, and I'm gonna let everybody go. When I'm dating someone, I often think about what I'm missing out on. A lot of people said that, like, they're always in their head about the grass is greener, or the what else is out there, what have you. So they're not giving it their full attention. Do you guys find that any way kind of reflects on the way you are when you're dating somebody? Do you kind of like find yourself kind of still open to things that may come? You don't fully focus on the one person, and you're just like the gate is still open for somebody else to come in and kind of like catch your eye or what have you. What do you think about that, Will?
I think most people in general, just looking at that question itself, I think most people don't know what they want. Because if you know what you want, then you don't feel like you're missing out on anything. And I think most people haven't experienced something healthy to actually know what a solid, strong, committed relationship is, especially the way the dating culture is. So, and then we talked about social media, everybody's comparing their lives towards each other. People are not really getting their practical experience, getting bad advice, all those things today, all those factors. But I think if you see and and understand what a healthy relationship is, and you know exactly what you want, and you do the work for yourself to get what you want, and you know exactly what the type of partner and the type of family and type of future that you want, then you don't have no problem comparing towards what everybody else is doing. Usually what I see, based on my experience talking to people, whenever they talk about, I want to miss out on this, it's usually, they haven't really figured out their purpose, their goal, what they want to do for their life. But when you're locked in, we have a lot of ambitious guys and women here. When you're locked, when you know exactly what your purpose is, you wake up every single morning, and when you know exactly your objective is, your goal is, your future is, and you actually put in the work to plan it out, you don't worry about what the world is doing or what you're missing out. A lot of people might see my life as very monotonous. A lot of my friends are partying, having fun. I don't really care about missing out on that because I know where I want to go. So the same type of mindset and perspective when you go into real relationships. And I think for most people, especially a lot of people coming from broken families, they're engaging in the dating culture today that doesn't build strong relationships. So they don't see a lot of example of healthy relationships online. So we have this, it's a FOMO, the fear of missing out. Yeah, because you don't know what you want. But when you know what you want, you don't really care about what everybody else is doing because you know exactly what you're going to get. And that's gonna give you the fulfillment and the joy or happiness that you're looking for. But if you don't know what you want, or what's that? There's a old adage or quote, if you don't know what path to take, you're just going to take any path, right? So it's the same thing. If you don't know what you want, then you might feel like you're missing out because you're comparing yourself to what everybody else is doing. And I think that's something that, especially when it comes to relationships, I think who you choose to have sex with, who you choose to get married to, and who you choose to spend the rest of your life with, I think that's one of the biggest decisions you're ever going to make in your life. And it saddens me that we kind of trivialize that decision, that, I have a lot of friends, baby mama issues, baby daddy issues, got divorced. They didn't really take that decision seriously, and they're paying the consequences to it. So I think choosing the right partner is probably one of the top 3 most biggest decisions you're ever going to make in your life. And I think if it's a big decision, then we should definitely plan and be diligent and invest as much time as possible so we make that choice right. Because the consequence of making that wrong choice, that's going to affect you for the rest of your life, especially if you have kids with somebody that you're broken up, you have issues with, you're going to see that person for the rest of your life. And I have a lot of male friends who deal with that every single day. So, know what you want. If you know what you want, then you will never have to worry about feeling that you're missing out on anything. But if you don't know what you want, then you're always going to feel that way.
This nigga's spitting right now.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You spitting for real. That was real talk.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly with everything you said. All right. Let's go to what about you, Alexa? You feel like you often wonder if the grass is greener. You feel like you might be missing out on something if you're dating somebody. Do you find yourself
found myself in past relationships where I do like think about what I'm missing out. Like, oh, they're more active, they're more fun. If I was with them, this would look like this. But that's because I was missing something within myself. I was missing that self-love, that self-respect. So I was looking for something outside to fill that up, but that comes from within. So I feel like people who are broken and haven't taken the time to heal themselves constantly do find themselves putting themselves in other relationships or just picturing how a relationship would be with another person because they're missing something within themselves. And I feel like once you feel whole and complete within yourself, then what Will is saying, it doesn't matter what other people are doing because you know who you are, you know what you want, and you're happy with that. And you're not looking for anybody else to validate you.
Bars.
Yeah.
Seriously, I agree. What about you, Renee?
Sorry, when I am dating someone, I often think about what I am missing out on. No, because when I'm fully committed to you, I am committed to my man, my boyfriend. What other people do outside of our relationship, I don't care for it. Let's just say I see somebody going out on a yacht. Good job for you guys. You do you, boo. That's not me. I want to go to the park and I want to walk our dogs and I'm going to be like go home happy. You know what I mean? So everybody to each their own. I mean, if you're looking outside of your relationship, then that says a lot about you, Then don't be in one. Go continue dating around.
Okay. What about you, Stevie?
No, when I'm in a relationship, I really have tunnel vision. I think that
I kind of guessed that with what you were saying.
kind of it goes like going back off of what Alexa said, like it's you haven't healed something in yourself to be yearning or like looking for something else or questioning something outside of your relationship, right? And I think like going back also to social media, like people like women, we have so many people liking our pictures or in our DMs, so now we feel so validated. But again, it goes back to these people see us at our best. They don't see us like when we're batshit crazy or our mental issues that we're not really healed from, that our person actually has to deal with every day. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm very like straightforward and I don't look outside of nothing.
All right, TJ.
So like I definitely was that overly ambitious dude. So there's been times in my life where I felt like I was missing out on certain experiences. So a lot of times in relationships that I've had in the past, that there was certain, yes, I was feeling like there was experiences that I was missing out on, trying to make sure that I was doing the things that I felt like I needed to be doing as a man to make, like my part in the relationship. So I would say yes, there were some experiences I felt like I've missed out on in past relationships, and I'm almost making up for that now. Like I said, in my opinion, in my view, I've reached all the goals that I wanted to reach, but I do feel like I've missed out on some experiences in the past that I want to do now.
Okay, Manic.
When I date, I do a careful vetting process. So I don't feel like I'm missing out because it's actually rare to find something genuine and that someone respects you the way you want them to respect you. So when I'm in a relationship, I don't think that, there's better options. Just because I trust in my, self and my vetting process. So, I mean, if relationships don't work, some don't. It's a learning process, and you should definitely take whatever lessons learned from that.
Okay. All right, Jerick. I know, like I said, me and you, it's all going to be theoretical with me and you.
Yeah, no doubt. I got you.
In the past. So what do you think?
No, definitely younger. I think young men, man, we always had that mindset, you missing out. But one thing I could appreciate, I always had good people around me where they were like, hey, you got you a good one. So they were like, rein you in and let you know, like, hey, you got a good person. But now being older and, I'm pretty observant and I talk to a lot of people where it's just like I'm hearing the stories out there and I'm like, I'm grateful. Like I'm locked in and got that tunnel vision, So no, I'm definitely don't be looking out there, and I'm not missing too much of that, dating marketing and stuff.
Yeah, and just to kind of piggyback with you, back when I was single, I didn't feel like I was missing out because when I was single, when I wasn't dating with intention, I had a bunch of fun. So it wasn't like I was missing out because I was experiencing all the shit that I wanted to do, But when I got with somebody, I was probably at that point where what I was doing, I knew I was at that point where what I was doing wasn't as fulfilling as it once was. So I kind of like, got all the enjoyment was I'd enjoyed as much as I possibly can. I mean, and then you get to a point where like, okay, now I'm ready for that new experience, that new thing that's going to move, go to the next chapter of this dating thing, to like date with intention. So yeah, I never really felt like I was like missing out on anything because I did so damn much. All right. So I was about to hit the final thoughts button, but I just, you know what? I just got one last question, and this could be a quick one. Just do you agree or disagree? All in all, the dating experience is a pleasurable one. How about you, Alexis?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. What about you, Will?
Yeah. If you do the work, it's a pleasurable experience. But if you just go out there and throw shit on the wall and hopefully shit sticks, yeah, have fun.
Okay. What about you, Renee?
Yeah, I think dating is a pleasurable thing. And then again, it's because, I'm a lover girl. I love love. I still believe that everyone is capable of finding that right person for them. So like I said in the beginning, don't lose hope to my guys and to my women out there. Once you find that person, you'll know.
All right. How about you, Stevie?
Yeah, I think it's really fun. I think that's the time where you get to really enjoy getting to really understand that person, get to know that person, and build that friendship, like so that you guys can really have like a good bond. So when you guys do decide to take the next steps, like it's more genuine, and you guys can actually like enjoy each other.
I think I already know what you, TJ, but go ahead and say it, my brother. Go ahead.
Having a great time meeting some absolutely amazing women, and one thing that I've changed recently is I actually have women friends now. That was a concept I didn't even believe in.
Yeah.
To have some women friends now. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. I remember me and this cat going up. He was like, "You don't have women friends. There's no such thing as like men and women being friends. Like it's just women you ain't smashed yet. That's it." What about you, Manny?
I'm gonna say no. The dating experience is not fun. I don't like wasting time, reaching dead ends, or meeting people's representative and then later finding out who they really are. So there's a lot of inauthenticity, especially when people see something that they really like. They'll put themselves first and kind of mislead you. So I believe people. So when I see too many red flags or see signs, and I gotta, jet out. But that's just, it's a learning process for sure. I always learn each time, but no, it's not fun.
Okay. Like, what do you wish would is there anything that could change that your perception of it not being fun? Any changes that could happen that you'd be like, okay, it's fun again? What needs to change?
People just being themselves, it'll help with the vetting process. And then, we could like decide after like conversation one, like, hey, this is just not going to work. Like, cool. Like, and we can just keep it moving. But like, I don't like my time to be played with. So.
Gotcha. All right. Theoretically, Jerk, was it a pleasurable thing for you back when you were dating?
No, it definitely was, man. I like the company of women, going out, having a conversation, making somebody laugh. So yeah, I like that whole, I say aspect of it. But now I would say it's fun from the perspective of like watching all of Manic's failures. I get the like front row seat on that. So I get the stories and stuff like, oh man, I thought she was gonna be nice to one. So I get to hear all the stories. So yeah, I definitely having fun through his eyes now.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. Because I hear all TJ stuff and I'm just like, who is this? Which one is this? Okay, just all right, whatever, man. It's just like, okay, dude, all right. When you say this is my girl, let me know, whatever. Or my lady, let me know. Because at this point, I'm just, it sounds like that DMX song. There's Felicia, Keisha, Karen, Anita. What they really want. It's just like that's how it sounds to me right now. I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. But yeah, go ahead.
Can I say something regarding?
Yeah, please.
I'm sorry that the dating experience hasn't been pleasurable for you. You mentioned the whole like learning part is kind of not fun, but I don't know.
No, I said the learning part was fine. It's
oh,
just
you like the learning part? Okay.
I love the learning part. Obviously, I'm trying. I love to learn, so I'm still out here. So
there you go. Good.
Haven't given up. No.
Yeah.
Manic, are you a passport bro or no?
No, absolutely not. I have good success here, so it's like I don't need to go to a country to get that. So
seriously,
just, I'm looking for something a little deeper, like a more meaningful connection. So that's rare. That's rare to find. So I'm taking my time.
Is it surprising you women? What these women, the women that you're hearing these guys who, well, not TJ, but want more of a deeper connection and dating with intention or what have you? Does it surprise you to hear guys talking like that? What about you, Renee? Oh, go ahead. Whoever want to go first.
I don't think it is surprising because I think that people are just seeing like the bullshit that's out there, So it's like people are like, no, I much more value like someone that has more intentions and have like a deeper like understanding or a deeper rooted like want for a relationship. So it's nice and it's refreshing, but like I'm not surprised now. Like it's nice though.
Okay. Cool. What about you, go ahead, Alexis.
I'm not surprised either. Going back to that belief that all men are players, if you truly believe that, then that's what you're going to experience. But I believe that there's a lot of men who have done the work, who do want something serious. Mm-hmm. And so, no, I'm not surprised that they're looking for something real and more than just sexual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It looks like a lot of these men that are in this panel have done the emotional work that they need to do. And a couple of them have mentioned that they already accomplished so much. So for the people that are single, this panel, like any woman would be lucky to have you guys.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate that. No, thank you.
Yeah.
You're
married.
Jerk.
I also appreciate you.
He's like, you're not wrong. Would be lucky to have me. Some woman does, but any woman, you're not wrong. So
yeah, I'll throw that back out. Like the women on this panel, in my opinion, you guys seem absolutely fucking amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, TJ.
I'm highly selective. I don't want women haters and I don't want man haters on any panel I get on, because I think that's counterproductive to try to like bridge the gap between men and women and try to have like results oriented conversations. So like if anybody, that's why it's so hard for me to put these panels together, because I could get 20-30 women on here to say men ain't shit, and I can get 20-30 men on here that say women ain't shit like tomorrow. But I'm just not trying to. It's so much of that out there that I'm just trying to stay away from that, because I don't believe it. It would just be like for clicks and likes and looks and views and stuff like that. And I feel like that doesn't move the conversation toward relationships and people being a lot happier. Because I think. Like and Will and I've talked about this a lot. I think men and women are better together than apart. I just wholeheartedly believe that. I'm living proof of that. You know, as far as I thought I got when I was single, I've reached heights that I wouldn't believe with, and it's because due to the wife that I've found and have chosen to spend the rest of my life with. So it is what it is. You know, but back when I was singing to book in this conversation, this question, I had a ball when I was single. It was a ball. I met a bunch of dope people, had a bunch of dope experiences, made a bunch of dope connections, people I'm still cool with to a degree to this day, and people I feel I value, I value, and I think, you know, I gained a lot from. But you know, it's I wouldn't trade any of that for relationship that I have now, where I don't envy any of you motherfuckers out there single trying to date. Not at all. You know, like I said, like Jerk said, I'll go ahead, I'll bring my popcorn and just watch the whole thing like a movie, sit in the back and like, damn, when she said that, oh, he said, oh shit, oh wow, well, good luck. You know, that's kind of how I am right now. So I'll give all the best to you guys who are out there still in the fight. So good luck to you.
Can I say the obvious on something real quick? Like, we got
What?
2, you know, good-looking single dudes on this panel right now, and 3 beautiful women.
Well,
trying to exchange phone numbers.
Stevie got a man. Stevie got a man. You really think Stevie got? You really think the way Stevie been talking that shit, somebody didn't lock her down? Stevie got a man. Renee, you got a man?
I do, yes.
Oh, she do too. So, but this is recent, right?
No, we've been together for 3 years.
Oh yeah, so she got a man too.
Throwing it out there. Just throwing it
And
out
we are, our intentions are to get married and to have kids within the next
Good for you. Good for you.
Can
What you got?
can I read a passage real quick?
Absolutely. Do whatever you want to do.
Not from a book of the Bible or anything like that.
Whatever you want to do. Do your
But
thing. It's your minute.
I'm reading a book right now called Maiden to Mother, and it's really talking about the mature feminine. And one thing it touches on is like doing the inner work of both as a man and woman. And so here's the passage. Okay, when you're watching the playback, just put this at 1.5 speed if you're losing interest. But it says, when you've seen a woman claim her sword and her goddess power, you know that you can only be matched by a man as brave as you are. This is an initiated man who embodies heart-centered masculinity. He's a man who has braved his hero's journey inwardly. So going in, like, you know, facing his demons, the descent of the goddess whose love they haven't fully experienced. Men in our culture are taught to conquer, claim, compete, dominate, and win. They spend their lives accumulating money and goods that symbolize their conquest. In the vision of the warrior, there's no space for vulnerability and compassion. Yet, if they could explore their own terrifying underworlds, they could bring back a healed man who could give himself in humble, strong service to his family, lovers, friends, and the wider world.
Put the name of that book in the back chat.
Yeah.
Or just say it. Because Terrence will read it. I ain't gonna read it. Terrence gonna read it. No, because he'll tell me all about it. No, I'm just joking. If you put it, I might pick it up as but that is all. That is the show. I just gotta say, it has been a pleasure hosting you guys. You guys have some insightful and well thought out responses. You know, I respect everybody on this panel. You know, you all are absolutely welcome again to come on this panel. I would have each individual come with final thoughts, but I think, you know, between what you just read and what Will just said, I think it kind of says it all right there. Unless anybody has something they want to add, you know, that I think we have had a very good show. I hope everybody who's watching it on the replay gets a lot out of it. So I want to go through each one if you would like to shout out your contact information in case you want people to follow you or what you got going on, or so people can support you. So Alexa, please go ahead and shout it out. If you want to email it to me, I will put it in the description when I edit the show and put it down, and at the description I'll put it down there. But for right now, edit out, that way people in the back chat can just slow it down and kind of get it from what you're saying. So go ahead, Alexa, what is your contact information if you would like people to follow you?
Yeah, so my Instagram account is just my first and last name. So at Alexa Navarrete.
Okay, but you spell it differently, so you need to spell it.
It's
Spell
like,
it.
whoa, that's a hard
Yeah.
last name. So.
So it's ALEXSA, and then my last name's NAVARRETE.
There you go. So now they can, because they would have not put that S in there, and they wouldn't have been able to find you.
That's true.
All right, go ahead, Will.
Yeah, you can find me on Will Nacuzzi channel on YouTube, the Golf Club Podcast. And we have a show tomorrow, Wednesday Hot Topics. We have a topic we're going to discuss. I know Damien's going to be joining me, and it's going to be a little bit chaotic, a little bit more chaotic tomorrow. But we have real unfiltered and raw conversations. And yeah, that's the best way to follow me. And Will Nacuzzi on all platforms, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Insta.
Definitely catch his Saturday shows. His Saturday shows are the hot ones. So definitely, if you want to learn something, watch every show of the week. But if you want to just like really, really enjoy like some hot topics and hot conversations, Saturday is the show. I guarantee you. All right. What about you, Renee?
Here's my organization's Instagram, because I know all of you lurkers are gonna look for my personal stuff anyways, which is also on that organization. It's Tutu, which is Tango Uniform, L as in Lima, O as in Oscar, N as in November, G as in, I guess, giraffe, and then 3 2s at the end. And I just want to shout out my girl Kiki Jones. She is in this
Kiki, you love me.
I'm a part of, and stay tuned, because yeah, she gonna cook something up with me next week.
Okay, looking forward to it. All right, Stevie.
And it's pretty simple. It's just West Coast _ Anna, and that's ANNA on everything, TikTok and Instagram. So that's it.
Yeah, that threw everybody off because her name is Stevie, but it was West Coast Anna, so it was just
my
that.
name is Stiana, but people for some reason was never able to really say it when I got older. So I just was like, just call me Stevie, and I don't know.
Okay. All right, TJ.
So IG is TJ3636, and the TJ is actually spelled out, so it's TEEJAY3636 at IG. And then I kind of want to follow everybody on this panel, but I don't want to write that down. So if you could put all the
I'll give them all to you.
The chat.
I'll give them all to you. All right. What about you, Manic?
You can find me on IG, YouTube, I guess every social media platform at The Manic Genius. The Sophisticated Jerk and I also have a podcast called Manic Sophistication, MANIC Sophistication. You can just type that in with the first thing that pops up. Yeah, this conversation was real fun. I enjoyed it, and if Dan will have me back, I'll be here.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime you want. How about you, Jerk?
Well, he already gave the channel again, Manic Sophistication. Check it out. We got movie reviews on there, and we also do like a podcast with guys where we give each other some pushback and stuff. Very balanced perspectives. But one thing I did wanted to say before we exit out, Dame and Will, y'all keep doing the good work. You guys have some great podcasts, definitely needed in this space. And it was a pleasure talking to everybody. You know, we can have this like good dialogue. So y'all keep doing your thing.
Appreciate you, brother. Like I've been on their podcast a few times, and it's a dope podcast. It's fun. I mean, it's just a ball. It's just fun. We talk shit. We get on each other. We crack jokes. It's a fun podcast. But there's also some positivity that come out of it. You can have fun and not be negative. So their show is fun. Will's show, you gotta watch. I'm saying, watch Will's show.
I watched it. That's great, man. I'll be tuning in. Will, you're doing a good job, man. I love.
And if any of you ladies ever have a show and you want me to shout it out for you, I'll be more than happy to do that, because you guys had some great insight, and I'm sure that you would have some great perspective that's needed in this space. So if you guys got anything going where people can like watch what you connect with you, let me know, and I'm all for it. All right. So with that being said, that's it in the show. Please, everybody, stick around. Don't just jump off when the music stops playing. I just want to make sure everything's taken care of at the end, so don't everybody jump off. So, but I'm going to say goodbye to the YouTube streets, and that's it.